John Cage, a radical composer-philosopher of the 20th century, had a profound effect on the preconceived notions of musical performance and the options available for composers to fully realize their work. Perhaps his most prolific contribution to the music world, the prepared piano, experimented with the limitations of instruments and the imagination of the composer. Cage states in page 7 of his credo, "Formerly, whenever anyone said the music I presented was experimental, I objected. Now, on the other hand, times have changed. Music has changed, and I no longer object to the word experimental." The prepared piano began as an experiment in practicality in 1940 for the dance piece Bacchanal. Cage collaborated with Sevilla Fort, an American dancer, to create a progressive, modern marriage between music and movement. Embracing the aforementioned changing world, Cage affirmed, "Percussion music was a contemporary transition from keyboard-influenced music to the all-sound music of the future." Bacchanal began the Cage-prepared piano experiment due to a technical problem in the performance hall. Cage originally composed the piece for a large percussion ensemble. Soon it became clear the auditorium could not accommodate a large group. In an attempt to solve this dilemma, Cage began experimenting with several percussive instruments. Ironically, he chose the piano as a perfect medium to create diverse and striking music. Changing the timbre and pitch of the classical instrument by inserting screws, cardboard, and other household implements, Cage created an evolutionary new one-man band.
Sevilla Fort, an extraordinary black dancer, made a dance called Bacchanal. It would have been perfect to use percussion instruments accompanying her dance, but the theater in the Cornish School had no wings, and the house was very small, and there was just room for our grand piano. So the music had to be made on a piano. It couldn't be made with percussion instruments. And the time was short because she had asked me to write the piece on Tuesday and the performance was on Friday. So I thought, what's wrong is not me, because I'm working as conscientiously as I can. The trouble is with the piano. So I decided to change it. I went into the kitchen and got a pie plate and came back and put it on the strings. And I knew I was going in the right direction when I heard the sound, but it bounced. So I thought, we'll have to put something that'll stay in position. And so I got a nail and it slipped. Then I got a wood screw, and with the grooves, it was just right. It stayed in position. And shortly I had such fascinating possibilities that I wrote the Bacchanal very quickly.
In the cycle Sonatas and Interludes, composed from 1946 until 1948, John Cage combined the prepared piano and his fascination with Oriental philosophy and decided to attempt the expression in music of the permanent emotions of Indian tradition: the heroic, the erotic, the wondrous, the mirthful, sorrow, fear, anger, the odious, and their common tendency toward tranquility. The phrase boundaries in Sonata 5 are blurred, presenting difficulties in the evaluation of form and phrase in the piece, as opposed to the organized fugue structure of the second construction. Through the inclusion of irregular, fragmented phrases, Cage posed a compositional dilemma, forcing himself to transcend the limitations of what could easily have become an overly simplistic and constrictive system. Sonata 5 expresses the basic elements that comprise the Indian ideas of emotion with the ultimate goal of tranquility.
Recorded with the help of Professor Blythe's first-year seminar, the following footage shows piano preparation. The footage also includes an unprepared piano and then a prepared piano version of Sonata 5. Jason Guo from the same seminar volunteered to record in concordance with this project.
Second construction marks his early stages of work with the prepared piano and serves as the point in John Cage's career where he still feels the influence of traditional music and classical training, while he strains to break free from it. In 1980, John Cage, from the viewpoint of an artist who had perfected his style throughout the years, reflected on his very early beginnings with the prepared piano. I think the second construction is a poor piece. I wasn't quite aware that it was poor when I wrote it. I thought it was interesting, but it has carryovers from education and theory. It's really a fugue, but of a novel order. In this day and age, I think fugues are not interesting because of the repetition of the subject. Second construction exudes strikingly innovative sounds with its unexpected tones that keep the audience in suspense. Throughout the piece, sounds come from a rattle, windglass, snare drum, and thunder sheet, as well as maracas, temple gongs, 5 tom-toms, and large sleigh bells, and a prepared piano. Cage wedged into the strings a screw and a piece of cardboard to mute several tones, and pealed forth a thrumming siren-like noise by sliding a metal cylinder along the strings with his left hand while his right trilled on the keyboard.